I mentioned a moment ago that neither coach had used their challenge.
As they challenge the call.
Good evening, basketball fans. This is Miko here, and you're now listening to Coach's
Don't talk into the ears like that.
This is it right here.
So no deep voice.
No.
I can't soothe them into the show.
No one wants your voice in the ear like that.
JADA.
What's going on, basketball fans? This is your boy Mike, and we're now playing the Coach's Challenge with some of your favorite basketball topics.
Mm-hmm.
We're here with your favorite coaches, Lamont, Carl, and H, talking about all the latest basketball news. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so guys, welcome back. Coach's Challenge, episode 9.
You made it.
We made it.
Wow, 9 of these joints.
Yeah.
That's dope. Awesome.
Talking about the latest stuff that's going on today. We're gonna be talking about the 10th year anniversary of the LeBron decision.
Ooh.
Talk about the bubble. Some of the players that opted out. Some of the players that tested positive for the COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus. We're gonna start it off with the thoughts. Oh damn, Carl.
Whoa. Let me get my
Oh,
mask.
Yeah.
I'm about to go to the bubble.
I heard the bubble got a PS5 in there.
It doesn't have a PS5. All right, stop telling these people this.
All right. Look, so what are your guys' thoughts on the players that opted out and the players that tested positive for COVID-19?
Wait, that's the first topic?
Yo, weren't they just playoff teams? Like it was like lottery team players.
Jokic tested positive. He's on a player's team.
Yeah, he was projected to come back.
Then Woody.
Who told him to lose all that weight?
Then Woody, I know what's his face from the Nets. What's his name? I forgot his name. I know he opted out. Can't remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know this isn't on topic, but I just want to talk about this real quick since you mentioned the Nets. You know, like 2 days ago was the last day Darren Williams was getting checked from the Nets. He was making they had to pay him what,
that's
like
crazy.
15K a day.
All right.
Like that's what it ended up being.
Man, I need to get signed to a basketball.
Lamont.
Basketball.
Lamont, since you brought that up, there's a baseball player named Bobby Bonilla
on the Mets.
That name sounds familiar.
Negotiated a contract where he gets paid $1 million point something every year on July 9th or July 1st.
I did hear about this before.
Yeah, and it's gone for like 20 years, 25 years or some shit.
He still got another 30 years left.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
So he gets $1 million every year for the next 30 years.
Yo,
and he's been getting it he hasn't played a baseball game since 1999.
Yo, that lawyer who helped set that up, like I'm taking care of his family.
I think what happened was instead of him getting paid then, like in 2 or 3 years, kind of like deferred his contract.
Yeah.
So
if he signed for like $100 million,
that's still smart as hell.
He negotiated $1 million for 100 years.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
That's like instead of getting
and things.
He was like, yo, every week.
Yo, word, and you don't need more than $1 million to really live good every year. If you gross $1 million every year, you good. You great.
Yeah, that was a smart decision. You know why? Because a lot of athletes, they really don't know how to manage their money.
No.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of them, they end up spending it real quick, depending on houses or making bad investments.
I think he's Dominican.
Situation because he's not getting paid up front. He's still getting paid every single year. Like he never has a chance of really like finishing that money.
Yeah. I think he's Dominican. I'm not sure.
Wait, is that Miggs?
Speaking about Dominican.
Whoa.
Speaking about Dominican.
Challenger approaches.
Miggs.
Who's that Pokemon?
What the fuck, guys? When did we say that we're gonna do a coach podcast?
Bro, you didn't read the
in the chat?
Oh, I didn't hit the chat, man. I was fucking...
Yo, Miggs,
bro, you gotta stop trolling.
Miggs, we
stop
live.
trolling. Yeah, we live, bro.
Yeah, we live,
Hey.
man.
Oh,
Miggs, we
really?
live.
Yo, I'm just letting you know now, Miggs. They was trying to kick you out. They was trying to kick you out the podcast. Carl and Harold. I should interview you.
Oh, Miggs is
Oh,
trying to
man.
kick himself out the
So we can fire
podcast.
you from your position.
Miggs, we live. So we talking about the baseball player.
Damn, Mike got that Kevin Durant blood.
What you mean talking about what baseball player?
Bobby Bonilla, how he signed that contract to so that he could get $1 million, 1 point whatever.
That's
for-
the
for like
funniest thing.
50
That's
years,
the best
B.
thing to talk about when you're talking to any Met fan.
That's crazy.
Is that? But
Yeah.
in reality, even though it sounds good on paper because it's guaranteed, 1.5 until 2035. In reality, if you really look at the financial standpoint, the other option he could have taken was to take the money. If he would have taken that money and put it in a regular CD account, the interest that would come from it would be actually more than what he's getting now. So, so that was really like the big issue. But at the end of the day, you figure if you take the time that it was that the contract went into play, there's a lot of variables. You don't know how the market or how the value is going to go in the future. So, but you do know you're going to make 1.5 million, until 2035. So
But the Mets,
that's a safe bet to take, basically.
but the Mets, the baseball salary cap is different than basketball. So I don't think that affects the Mets, their cap space or anything like that. They just got to pay them.
Yeah, so they're not really suffering that.
Yeah, they're not really suffering like they would in basketball, like the Nets who just finished paying Deron Williams.
That's not true. That's not so true. That's not true because there's a thing called a luxury tax. There's no cap in baseball, but there is a luxury tax, and you can't go over it. So
so Bobby Bonilla's contract is still on that. It's still accounted for.
I don't think
so.
It won't account for it, but at the same time, it's still money that's being given out to a certain player that's not producing. That's just not
but
producing.
that's a wealthy
million.
Wealthy owner, bro. They're billionaires. 1.9.
Actually, no, it's an owner that just got ripped off in a Ponzi scheme. So according to Rich and Wealth, they're actually significantly poorer than what they originally thought themselves to be. So
I mean, they may be poorer than what they're supposed to be, but they're still rich enough for one. Like, trust me. They're not hurting for one.
It's a good troll for the Met fans, Miggs. Right? It's a good troll.
It's definitely a good troll for the Met fans. I totally agree.
I hear you. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Hell yeah, B. Plus, they're not thinking about it. How I just broke it down. How me and Carl, yeah, because it's not going against their salary cap or anything like that. It's not hindering them from making any kind of moves. But the fact that
even if it was, what's 1.9 billion doing in terms of like
especially in baseball, 1.9 million is nothing in baseball.
See,
is nothing when they're making $200 million contracts.
Yeah,
Jesus. Like nothing, like water, B. Like water.
But let's talk about the bubble, Mike.
All right, so guys, so you know that half the Nets roster, I think it's like 5 players on the Nets have tested positive, or 4 tested positive for COVID-19, and I believe 1 player opted out. What are your thoughts on the players opting out, and what are your thoughts on the players that are testing positive? Do you think that with that happening, and then the cases in Orlando with the coronavirus increasing, do you think that this bubble stands a chance? Do you think the season stands a chance to continue?
I personally think the season stands a chance because the NBA is gonna do whatever possible to make it happen. Me personally, I think if I had the choice to go to the bubble and not go to the bubble, I wouldn't, because especially the increasing numbers in Orlando specifically. Like, I was a pusher for the bubble idea, but not in a place like Orlando, where you see like people aren't really following the rules, and so many people are not contracting the disease. So it seems like a scary location to go to. But also in terms of like the other players who have actually contracted it, I think they have like about 2 weeks or 3
I
weeks
believe.
to recover.
But we know that
And
players
you
are
know, hopefully by the time July 30th comes up, they would have enough time to pass whatever clearance they need to pass, and wouldn't be passing on the disease to anyone in the bubble.
Yo, it was only 16 players out of 302 that came out positive, which is
increasing though.
Yeah, it kept increasing though, but still that was pretty good. And I heard that was like they were going for that number, that percentage. I think it was like 5%. And they hit that mark at that time when they said 16. I know it kept increasing or whatever, but I'm looking at the names. And I'm hearing Malcolm Brogdon. I'm hearing Jabari Parker, Alex Len.
Yeah, a lot of the Nets players have it too, like Spencer.
Yeah. The good thing about this is that no superstar has gotten it yet, which is.
But the thing is, here's my question: do you think they would release it if a superstar actually got it?
I mean, why not? What's
Bro, they want the NBA to come back.
Yeah, they need the money.
Okay, for politics purposes.
On the hush hush.
Yo, talking about that, baseball. Baseball is not disclosing any player that has the coronavirus.
Yeah, that. See? I wouldn't
crazy, right?
NBA. If LeBron has it, they're not saying nothing. LeBron not saying nothing.
Yeah,
LeBron is making somebody else take his test for him.
Yeah, word.
Look, listen. At the end of the day, after looking at the players that went down and everything, I gotta say, I mean, for example, Brooklyn Nets. The fact that 5 have the coronavirus is irrelevant. They don't have Kyrie and they don't have Kevin Durant. So what are they gonna really do? If I teams like that really should just pack it on up and just move on out.
You don't think you don't think they could upset a team?
Huh?
You don't think they could upset a team on the East? The Nets?
No.
With Caris LeVert,
at the end of the day, to be honest, this is really a 6-team tournament to see who wins the championship. It's between the East. It's going to be Toronto. It's going to be Milwaukee, and it's going to Philadelphia. And then over here in the West, it's going to be the Lakers, and it's going to be the.
What about the Celtics and the Heat?
The Celtics.
Who?
The Celtics and the Heat.
They got
I can see the Heat doing something. The Celtics.
I repeat. It's only going to be 3 teams that's in the East. The Sixers.
Miggs,
it's only going to be 3 teams in the East. It's only going to be 3 teams in the West.
I wouldn't count out the young guys, Miggs. But I definitely would have the 3 that you listed above. But I wouldn't count out the young guys.
Coronavirus or not, they got to play 7 games.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't see Philadelphia losing a 7-game series. They're healthy right now. I don't see Toronto doing the same. It's gonna really get the first round, as long as they avoid each other. It should all set up for the second round, and then that's when you're really gonna see it. Who's gonna get that lucky break with that team like Boston? And then who's gonna have to play a big matchup? Toronto.
How about you consider this, bro? Because like a lot of these teams have players who are not in shape because they haven't been playing basketball for a long time. They've lost their chemistry. Don't you think that youth right now gives you kind of an advantage? Because young people maintain that stamina. It's a lot of things that they're not regressing on that a lot of the older players might suffer from.
It might, but I don't think at this point you could tell what's gonna affect them and what's not.
Yeah, I'm going off of the opinion and of the fact that when it comes down to it, during this epidemic or as soon as it was finalized when the season was going to start, the championship teams has started getting into contending shape.
Word.
That's what builds
Especially the Lakers.
mentality. If you're gonna tell me that there's another player on the Laker team that has not been practicing, with LeBron James looming, I honestly tell you, you're
Avery
wrong.
Bradley.
I was just about to say that.
Avery Bradley, but you know what? It's probably because he got into his decision. That's fine. I hope he enjoys the next team that he goes to play with. And all. But
Rondo's practicing.
You're telling me that Milwaukee, Toronto, that they haven't practiced? No, I'm pretty sure that the teams that are we're gonna compete for the crown, they're ready and waiting.
Shout out shout out to Jay Aura. He gonna be in the bubble, guys.
Yeah, look at that. They got J.R. Smith now. Whether or not he's in shape or whether or not he's been practicing for the last 3 years, I mean, we'll see.
Exactly, and he's 35 now.
And he's 35. But, as long as he still has a shot.
I mean, he ain't going to play fucking 30 minutes. He's only going to play like 15.
Let's be honest. J.R. Smith is going to be open most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's
really,
and all he has to do is just nail it on those shots.
I don't see the defense being like,
the bad thing
let's
about
focus on JR right now.
The bad thing about it is that now they lost an experienced playmaker, because Bradley, even though he was known for his defense, he's known for his defense, but he's a smart player who's been in the league for a while. Now they got to depend on Caruso. And of course, Rondo, which Rondo
the GOAT,
look.
All right.
Yeah, but he hasn't been battle tested. That's the problem.
Hold on. So wait a minute. I just want to make sure of this. So in the same sentence, this guy put up Avery Bradley like some sort of playmaking, X factor.
No.
And denounced Caruso, who's the entertainment and you factor, and Rondo, who's the experience championship factor. Wow, that's really nice.
Well, there's a reason why Rondo isn't a starter on the Lakers. And
the guy's only good for 8 to 10 minutes. That's it.
Exactly. So in the playoffs,
he's more of a transition guy.
He's a different on the court. He's a different story. He's a different story in the playoffs. He's a playoff Rondo.
Players have an advantage because of that.
Who?
Rondo can't even play 8 minutes.
Players.
They only got 48. They'll work it out.
I think veterans always have an advantage in the playoffs.
Always.
I think this
over a younger.
Provided they have fresh legs, and everyone's going to have fresh legs.
It's a different circumstance. I think if it's a regular routine playoffs, like we're continuing, I think experience definitely.
Right. Yeah.
I think right now, because of 4 months of no playing basketball.
Yeah.
Even if you're telling me, they're practicing and they're staying in shape, but then they weren't allowed to play against each other.
Carl, back then when they had the lockout, they didn't play for like a couple of months, and it's not like they came back and you saw the rookies outshine the vets. The vets can still ball. I mean, the vets are 30 years old. They're still young guys. It's just that the younger guys are younger guys, like 20, 21.
Guys,
I mean,
speaking of that young guys section, you do know that there's a team called the Los Angeles Clippers. They don't have an aging roster. They have a very, very nice core 4 in there, and
Who,
Leonard, George, and
the Clippers?
Patrick Beverly. I put
in talking about Kawhi Leonard, who needs load management, and then you also got PG, who needs to sit too. Like, I don't know.
They're not gonna, but that's the thing. That was in the past. There is no such thing as load management. He just had a 4-month load management.
Yeah,
it's literally what? It's only a couple of games, and then it's playoffs.
He probably gonna not play all 8 games.
He's probably. I don't see him playing. I probably see him playing like maybe one and maybe one every 3-4 games, and that's it.
Yeah, I see him playing 4 games.
Playoff, it's over. It's a wrap. That's a different dimension.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be great. All the championship players have to do is just maintain the fact that the teams that you knew was gonna be there, they just gotta stay healthy, don't go outside, follow the directions that are given, and they're gonna get a chance to compete.
Do you guys think they're actually gonna have like the ability to follow these directions? Like because Stephen A. Smith is saying like they need women. And then we having like some of the conversations on our fantasy chat,
bro. Like I know for a fact, Carl. That's a great question.
Yeah,
I know for a fact the Lakers are gonna stay together, and they are going to make sure that all the players are engaged. And for those that need things like that, because we all do, I understand. But bro, the bigger goal is they got to treat this like camp or some shit, because
so you don't think there's gonna be any Dennis Rodmans?
Of course, but it's up to the team captains, the leaders, to keep them engaged to keep them there. And if maybe they might work something out with a J.R. Smith. Maybe he get a chance to get off the Disney World thing and go to the liquor store across the street from.
Nah, they
Deion
can't.
Waiters.
They can't leave at
They
all.
can't even go to the liquor store across the street.
Don't forget we got Deion Waiters
Somebody
too.
is sneaking out. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we got
Somebody's-
Deion Waiters too. Jesus.
Because one thing is getting the liquor delivered to you, but there's another thing going late night and buying the bottle. That's an experience on its own, and you can't take that away from JR, man.
You can't take the edibles away from Deion Waiters either.
Look, these players.
Yo.
Look, they're gonna have a bodega in the
Deion.
bubble.
The Lakers.
It's 4 to 8
A
weeks.
bodega.
It's
Yeah.
4 to 8 weeks. We've been dealing in a situation where it's we gotta stay self-quarantine for 2 weeks if we have the sniffles. Look, if they want to win a championship, at least in this format, regardless of the fact, it's gonna be it's true what Austin Rivers said. It is gonna be a difficult championship to win. It just is. But that being said, it's still gonna have an asterisk for good reason and for bad.
Yeah,
If you want to go for it, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices.
yeah, it's gonna be. I understand.
The Disney World Resort is one of those sacrifices.
I understand.
Austin Rivers on?
Huh?
What team is Austin Rivers on?
The Clippers.
The Clippers.
Austin Rivers on the Clippers? Austin Rivers not on the
Oh, he's
Clippers.
on the
Not no more. He's
Not
on the
anymore.
Rockets.
No, the
Yo,
Rockets.
Rockets.
Yeah,
I
of course it'd be
understand.
a difficult championship for them to win. They don't got a center.
No, but I understand because
What are you talking about? They got Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
I understand when he says. I understand this.
He
He
averages,
says this is
a lot of rebounds.
this is gonna be a difficult championship because this is something that nobody has ever experienced. None of them have ever experienced this. So
Yeah.
So to get back, like Carl was saying, you like I was saying like I was telling Carl, we don't know what's gonna happen because either the veterans are gonna be comfortable or the young players or whatever. You don't know. This has never been done before, so it's not like they're gonna be traveling the same way, or they're not gonna be traveling at all. They're not gonna. You never know. Players might not. None of the players might be comfortable in that bubble, and that might affect the play, and that might.
Unexpected. That's how I see it right now.
What?
Right now, say expect the unexpected. Like you don't know.
Yeah. Expect the unexpected, man.
Yeah.
That shit is gonna be crazy to see how players react to the bubble.
Imagine the Lakers lose to the Pelicans. That would be
Oh
crazy.
my God, that would
I'm
be
blaming
amazing.
the fucking bubble. I'm blaming the bubble.
I did say that before that. There are some dark horses out there, of course, but I'm trying. But at the end of the day, there's some teams. We knew that the Brooklyn Nets weren't going to go anywhere. Come on, that's all right. Let's hope that all the players that test positive just come.
What you mean? I know Knick fans that are jumping to the Nets. I know Knick fans that are jumping to the Nets.
Carl, is that true?
As well as they should. As well as they should. As well as they should, given what's been going on the last 30 years. They should.
Damn,
but-
Carl, you jumping ship?
Nah,
Carl, you jumping ship?
Flash too. The Nets or the Knicks in Brooklyn.
the Knicks will trade right away.
They got better players, but the same bad luck.
Stop it.
I'm telling you, man.
They just got Kyrie.
Kyrie's not even gonna play one game in that contract.
Yo,
I'm
that's
sorry,
crazy.
but, okay,
right?
can we talk
That's
about this real quick?
crazy. That's what it's gonna look. That's what it's looking
Wait, hold on.
like.
I like Kyrie. Kyrie is a great player, but why do people always put so much on him when people are like, but they got Kyrie? Like Kyrie was winning when it was just him as the star and he was on in the Cavs.
But he wasn't a championship winner until LeBron got there.
And then what did he do when he was on Boston Celtics?
Yo, thank you. I had that exact argument. Someone saying
Kyrie is a great player, but he is not
Kyrie's the best point guard in the league.
What did he do? He sat his first year, and the Celtics pushed the Cavs to 7 games. They were about to go to the finals.
Yes, they did better, and then he came back, and then they did worse.
The following year, they were what, 6th?
Bro, Kyrie. Look, Kyrie.
Worse.
Lamar.
Got worse. Wow.
Kyrie is a great player, but Kyrie is a weapon. Kyrie is a weapon and needs to be wielded by somebody else.
Agree. I agree.
He is a weapon. He is a weapon. He is a talent. He is one of the top. You could make a case that he's one of the top 10 players in the NBA right now. That is taken.
Kyrie.
But at the same time, there are some players that cannot be the person to lead the team to winning a championship. And I'm
Kyrie.
sorry.
I
That's
agree.
Kyrie.
I agree. I agree with all of that.
I think honestly, if we're just talking about
He is at best a good skill wise. He's one of the top 10, but he is a number 2 on any championship team.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even say any number 2. I think on some teams he should be the number 3 possibly. You know? Like if you could have him.
Is Carl trying to tell me that Kyrie was number 3 in Cleveland this whole time? I'm gonna have to go watch the tapes now. Oh my God, I love this.
He's definitely number 2 in Cleveland. Like
I
honestly, you could have you could have definitely put him 1B.
I'm going back to the tapes, bro.
It was 1A, 1B in Cleveland.
You got something there. You got something there.
Yeah,
I think
you can't have Kyrie as the leader of your team.
Yo, listen, man. Kyrie is a 91 in 2K. When you get a 91, a player that's rated 91 in 2K, that's a team changer. That's why we mentioned Kyrie when he went to the Nets as a player that should turn that around. But like I said, I agree with Miggs. I agree with Carl about how Kyrie and Lamont, how, Kyrie is not a leader. He is a secondary player, a guy that needs to be led, that needs to be stirred in the right direction because he's a weapon.
A pivotal two-piece.
But he's a 91, and if he ever does figure out the mental side of, how to be the leader of the team, it's over, man.
Age, I haven't played 2K in a long time, but I imagine the ratings are based on skills, right? So like they have all these like categories of abilities of what a player should have, like dribbling ability, shooting ability, like like your ability against defense. And I think that's what that's the metrics behind his rating in 2K, but not necessarily his proficiency for leadership. I think that's a whole different.
You want me to get his leadership rating?
They got a rating for that.
They got an IQ. They got an IQ rating.
Yeah, IQ's not leadership. I
know NBA 2K had to change his uniform in the last 3 years.
IQ's
so
your ability to see the floor, to read the offense, to read the defense, to make good plays. That's what IQ is. But that's not really leadership. Like someone could have good IQ. Like you put them on the floor and they're very smart. They'll go into their positions, but that doesn't mean that they're the player that you want to lead your team.
I'm just saying his talent is enough to turn a basketball team around. And so far he hasn't done that.
Enough. There's been a lot of talented players who haven't won chips, who haven't had great careers.
So Carl, you're hinting that Kyrie is overrated.
No, I'm not saying he's overrated. I'm saying talent wise, he has it. Like I think in terms of dribbling,
I agree. But his talent,
he's the best finisher. He's lethal on offense. So these skills, like if you're talking about all the players in the NBA, he's number 1 in a lot of skills, right? So, but at the same time, like I can't call him overrated in terms of his ability. No, but is he a leader? No, he's not a leader.
I'm taking Dame over Kyrie.
Yeah, I'm taking Dame as a leader. Yeah, because what Dame has had to do in the West, and
it depends. I'm taking Kyrie.
Kyrie hasn't done that as a number 1, even though Kyrie has a chip.
I'm taking Kyrie. I think not with my first pick though.
LeBron, I think Dame would have probably had more chips than Kyrie.
I would draft Kyrie 3rd round, so it makes a case for him to be 2 or maybe even the 3rd option on the championship team. Brooklyn Nets will probably be a good team next year. They could get another big defender coming off the bench.
But they're going after Bradley Beal. That's who they want. They want to.
For now,
but I heard they can't sign Bradley Beal next season.
Why not?
Something. I heard like it's like impossible.
Unless too.
It's up to Bradley Beal. Like it's up to Bradley Beal. If he really wants to go to the Lakers, he'll go. I forgot what it was.
Lakers. I'm talking about the Nets.
I kissed Bradley Beal goodbye a long time ago from when I heard about that. So I'll try to get it and post it on the chat. I'll try to get it and post it on the chat. for us to read or whatever.
So let me ask you this. So why is everybody right now surprised that LeBron James was close to picking the Knicks the summer of 2010? That's been known. That was been known.
Yeah, word, man. But Miggs, you know what I think the news. The shocker was. The shocker was that it came out from reports. I don't know if this is true or false. That the Knicks fucked it up. I don't think we heard that back then. We heard that.
Who's actually shocked about that?
That's true.
I don't think we heard that before.
Nobody ever knew what happened, but it was reported that he was not granted. Actually, it kind of is. It's not. They did mention it. They just didn't make a big thing of it then. They said they kept it as that. Sources say that LeBron James has not gone back for a second interview. I do recall that. But I remember very clearly reading and it's funny that Bill Simmons was the one that mentioned it on his podcast. He actually was the one that wrote the article back in 2010 in that summer when what ended up happening is that the three best options for LeBron, which was the New York, Chicago, and then Cleveland. New York being the fact that was known as the Godfather one, the best deal, because you're coming to New York with the market that New York City has, and the history and the fact that you won a championship in New York, that pretty much already throws you up there at a GOAT status. Chicago was the better deal for the reason that at that time the team that had been assembled,
nobody wanted to hit Chicago though. Nobody wanted to go to Chicago.
But
everybody wanted to avoid Chicago.
Remember,
at that point, the Chicago Bulls
was interested
in the East.
Yeah, he was interested.
The Chicago Bulls were the number one team in the East.
He ended up
They had the best design, the coaching and the players, the precise pieces. All they needed was a LeBron James, or actually, really, all the Chicago Bulls needed at that time in the Derrick Rose era was just
what happened? What happened?
That's a playmaker.
And what happened?
Easily.
What happened to Chicago? Why they didn't let LeBron?
Well, I mean,
because of honestly, you want to know the two reasons. Number one, they shouldn't have pushed a 21-year-old kid to try to promote and bring a guy up, and they shouldn't have sent a guy who really wasn't really liking LeBron James on a competitive level, kind of hated him, to try to sell him. What they should have done is just presented the fact that listen, this gives you the best option to win. I remember they even used like they even had media just bring it in like on some like, yo, does LeBron even have the guts to get into the shoes of Michael Jordan? I'm serious.
I remember that.
System, I don't I know that the Knicks had a horrible marketing system, but at the same time, I think the Chicago Bulls just had no system. But they were close. They were close because somebody at least put it in his ear and told him, hey, listen, they have the pieces that you really can take.
I heard back in the day. I heard
Pat Riley pulled. Kudos to Pat Riley. He also could have gone back to Cleveland. He could have gone back to Cleveland, stuck at home, try to win a championship for his hometown. He would have been fine with it.
I heard
Pat Riley. He made some moves. I mean, how could you deny a fact to play in Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh? That makes you a power three with a team that has good defense all around it, behind it, and with a management head by Pat Riley. You really cannot say no to that.
Yo, let's go back to the Knicks. I don't believe the Knicks were ever LeBron's first choice or first decision. I think a lot of times, players like to attach their names to the Knicks because once you attach your name to the Knicks, then I think it brings your price up because everybody knows.
I did hear that. I did hear about that before.
I did hear about that before. That is Carl. That is true. That is true. However, that is a 1990s truth.
No, it's still true.
Nobody.
It's true. That's also true.
Nobody wants to associate themselves with the Knicks.
That's also true. Only Knicks fans think that name holds weight. Only Knicks fans think that name holds weight.
Nobody wants to be associated with the Knicks.
I'm not saying all. Bro,
people want to be associated with New York.
Miggs,
and there's a market with that.
Every single year, we have papers, we have TV broadcasting. Every single year there is a free agent that's attached to the Knicks or a rookie that's attached to the Knicks. That's every single year. So one thing I believe that happens is that it does increase your value because everyone knows it around the NBA that the Knicks are desperate enough that they're going to try to pay these players no matter what they have to pay them. They're going to give whatever bad contract. And I think players go into
to get
other,
that money.
other organizations and be like, look, you know what? The Knicks want me.
Yeah.
You know, the Knicks are going to pay me this much.
Leverage.
The Knicks had, but there's a difference between then and now. At that point in time, the Knicks actually had the cap space. Yeah, but the Knicks had the cap space that year to get LeBron.
Carl is saying,
they got the cap space to put two people.
Carl is saying with the contracts, Miggs, you think he's talking about associating themselves with their reputation?
No, what I'm talking about.
He's not talking about the branding. He's not talking about the branding.
I was asked whether or not LeBron James was legit when he said that. I'm telling you the reasons. I'm gonna tell you the reasons why. Number one, H, and you could agree on me on this. LeBron James is a businessman. LeBron James is a brand. Yeah. And he's a very thoughtful person to get the brand. There's nobody else in the United States of America that's gonna market your brand better than from New York City. There just isn't. And that's one of the reasons why he was gonna come over here. Number one, you got a team in New York that has the cap space to sign not one but two max player contracts at that year, at that moment. Number two, you have a team that not only could they do that, but they also have a legitimate supporting cast. They had a young, legitimate supporting cast at that time. And then you got number three.
The Bulls?
Yeah, they had Daniel. They had the team that they gutted to get Melo.
Oh, the Gallinari, the Felton.
Yeah, they actually had the team
Amari
still ready.
Now they didn't have Amari at the time yet.
Yeah, they did. They had Amari. No, they did. They have Amari. They got Amari after that because Amari was the only guy that said, you know what, I'll go ahead and take your cap money. I'll take your cap money at that time. You know, shout out to Amari Stoudemire.
He did his thing though that season though.
Yeah,
but
he did good, but you guys overpaid for him, and you guys gutted. Then the Knicks overpaid for him, and then the Knicks kind of gutted the team to get Melo when he was only going to be a free agent a couple of months away. But back to LeBron James. But look, back to LeBron James. The pieces were there. The fact that winning a championship with New York is pretty much better than winning a championship with any other NBA franchise at this moment. The New York Knicks, despite how bad they've been the last 30 years, they still are number one on Forbes' highest NBA worth team. So you win a championship in New York, you're pretty much, I'm guaranteeing, regardless numbers that be or whatever like that, you're guaranteeing you're forced to put him in the GOAT table automatically off of them. But again, he put his talents. At the end of the day, he could have gone with that one, or he could have gone with Chicago. Personally, I thought he was going to go with either New York or Cleveland. And then Miami just came in with the left field best deal available. They stole it. They stole LeBron James.
I think that was the left field best example because you know what? Like these players, LeBron, Wade, and Chris Bosh, I think they were signed to the same management team at that time, right?
No. They never was, Carl.
Okay. All right. So I think I read something to that extent. But the point that I'm trying to get to is that they made sure that their contracts ended at the same year so that they became that year. So
that's true. They all declined the max year.
Melo jumped in. I think Melo
did sign in. Yes, Melo jumped. He did fucking kick it in. That's why he stayed in Denver for another reason.
Melo ruined it because he cared about the
lockout.
And they were going to do something different with the CBA. And so he wanted to lock in the money before they could have possibly reduced the amount of money.
Yeah, Melo was trying to make his money.
I think it's safe to say that this was before he met Lala. If he was with Lala wouldn't allow that type of move. She would have thought, moves.
I don't know. Lala got killed in power, boy.
He needed to get killed.
Lala got killed in power. She ain't that smart.
Real quick, fellas, I just want to get your thoughts. Let me know. Whether you're going to blow the whistle on or you're going to pass on this recent news. So Hassan Whiteside is expected to come off the bench. What are your quick takes on that?
Come off the bench where?
In Portland?
Yeah, Yusuf Nurkic is coming back. He's gonna be on.
This is news. Why? How is this?
Your thoughts? Real quick. This is real quick hit.
He
Whiteside?
should. It's
If they play,
Whiteside.
he should.
Wait,
Whiteside is in no
Whiteside had a
position
great
to be
season this year.
securing a starter spot, bro.
Whiteside had a great season this year, but at the end of the day, you got to go with Nurkic. Look, they were better. They're a better team when they have Nurkic on the floor. That being said, this year, 2020, Whiteside coming off the bench, that's a pretty impressive six man. That's a very impressive six man. That's the best way to go about doing it.
Hold on. Who's their 4 and 5? So like they can't play together?
Oh, so I think the 4 is either, because I know Trevor Ariza is not coming back, so it's either gonna be I know it's gonna be either Melo or I forget this kid's name.
Wait, so Melo's not the 3?
Melo plays the 2. Wait, I'm trying to think of the starting lineup right now. The starting lineup right now for the team.
It's CJ, it's Dame, it's Nurkic apparently.
Yeah, Nurkic is playing the 5. Nurkic is on the 5.
Isn't it Bazemore or Hood or
I believe it's Rodney Hood.
Well, they put
Rodney Hood is hurt though. Rodney Hood is hurt.
and Melo.
Yeah, they could put Melo at the 3. They could put Nurkic at the 4 and White.
Well, actually, now they're gonna have to.
Wouldn't it be better to have Melo at the 4 right now?
Yeah, Melo's gonna come off Melo's gonna play the 4.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Melo's not fast enough to do
the kid that's come off the bench. I forgot his name.
It's gonna end up being Rodney Hood.
Rodney Hood is hurt.
Rodney Hood is hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt.
And Trevor Ariza is not coming back.
Yeah, it's a kid off the bench. I forget his name. That's gonna be filling that slot.
Anthony
So I guess they're probably gonna get what? They're gonna bring up Nasir Little.
Maybe that Jalen Adams kid that they signed from the G League.
Anthony Simmons or Gary Payton the second.
Yeah, maybe one of those. All right, so real quick off of that, Bradley Beal being indecisive about whether he wants to join Orlando. What are your thoughts on that?
Bradley Beal from the Wizards.
From the Wizards.
Look, if I'm Bradley Beal, I would do this. This is the best thing that Bradley Beal could do for him. You gotta look at him. He has to look at himself like a running back in the NBA.
Wizards not even in the playoffs.
You have a lot of mileage. Look, you've got a lot of minutes added on. We know that you're a scorer. We also know that you can't carry that team for shit. Give up.
The team is
go take off the summer, keep training, get ready for the next season. And
I'm not blaming Bill
for your body.
So let me ask you about Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo is 100% as far as health, and he's unsure about coming back to resume the season. What are your thoughts on that for the Pacers?
I mean, I think he should come.
Another irrelevant team in the East. I'm telling you guys, this.
They got a good squad. I think they still need it.
Yeah, these teams are great. You know what? I'll tell you what. Honestly, this would be a different topic if the tournament, if the playoffs this year was a one game tournament. Then we could bring in all the Indiana Pacers, and the Brooklyn Nets, and everybody else, and the Washington Wizards, and everybody else that's coming in from the East. There's only 3 teams in the East. I will repeat that again. It is Toronto, Milwaukee,
exactly,
and it is Philadelphia 76ers.
Get the Pacers out of here, man. Who cares, man? Victor Oladipo, whether he plays or not.
You guys don't care if Jonathan Isaac or Farid Aminu come back for the Magic.
Who are these guys?
Nah.
So disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
These guys need to stay home.
They will be a good team, and they will have the home field advantage. And there you go.
They're gonna come to the bubble just to play PS5.
They don't have the PS5.
They need to look at the bubble, but don't come in.
Yeah. And
So they're not getting the COVID. They're not getting the COVID rings.
Your last thoughts about John Wall, a rep from John Wall's camp stating that he lost his games because what's so funny?
Wait. What did?
No, because every time you hear
say?
John Wall, I just have to laugh. Not only that, but I will say this, because John Wall could laugh for a lot of reasons because of that. But I really laugh at the fact that, damn, he lucked out. He got so lucky when he got his free agent. Whoever put that deal in place for him, I want that. I want that agent.
He wants to play basketball, man. He doesn't care about the money. He wants to play basketball.
They said John Wall will not join.
You know how much he's getting each year?
Yeah, it's easy to say that when you already got the money.
John Wall earned that. He was like
no, he definitely earned. Like, I'm not saying like his contract wasn't bad at the time. It just ended up being bad because after he got the contract, he had the Derrick Rose syndrome.
Yeah, multiple injuries
Back to
back
back.
to back. Yeah, this guy was averaging like 20 and 10.
No, yeah, because when he got it, he actually improved because John Wall's always just been more athletic than most of the people on the court. But he actually made his
John
jumper
Wall.
somewhat usable, and
Right.
he was being a little bit
The
better with his
NBA.
teammates.
I think the NBA is moving on. Past
170.
John Wall. He don't got to step
for
back.
4 years.
He don't got to step back.
You don't gotta step back. You need to
Haven't
step
played a
back.
game since.
He don't got to
You know.
step back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you don't got to step back, the NBA goes past you unless you're Zion, who's trying to change the game right
You know what's the sad part about John Wall is that the guy's actually good. Like he actually
Oh yeah,
was.
John Wall.
Good.
Was
He's
Good.
actually good.
If this was five years ago,
He can't shoot.
you know, yeah, he don't got to step back. Huh?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I was gonna tease the topic of the LeBron legacy that's being at the 10-year anniversary, but knowing you guys, it's gonna end up being a whole other podcast in itself. I want to ask you guys very briefly, your thoughts on it being the 10-year anniversary of LeBron's decision and your viewpoint from now as far as his legacy. What are your thoughts?
I don't give a damn because it has nothing to do with the 70s.
All right, well, Lamont said his piece. Carl?
I didn't have to look at an hour and a half of him making up this decision. I think it was an easy decision. We could have found out about it the next day.
I just caught that.
Sorry, I just jumped in. I figured.
Miggs, go ahead. Miggs, go ahead.
Yeah, continue.
That's it. That's all I had to say about
Say
that.
it again. I was interrupting you.
Oh no, I just said that I didn't. I or nobody else in the nation needed to wait an hour and a half for him to decide on the best deal. He could have just sent that over, by text, and we just get it on our on our iPods and iPhone.
Are you crazy?
Oh, man.
Are you crazy?
Here we go.
No other player could get away with this aside from LeBron James. He had to. Everybody wanted to know where he was gonna go. Everybody wanted him. Everybody couldn't have him. He was gonna make some people upset, and that's exactly what he did. It didn't go well, the decision, but he had to do it because he never got a chance to experience his to make a decision. He was drafted. What you
mean that there wasn't a bigger decision in his life?
The
decision he
at that time
from high school to the NBA.
He didn't even get to decide that. He didn't get to decide that. That was decided for him. He couldn't go to college.
He couldn't
go. LeBron couldn't go to college, bro.
But that's just
it made no sense.
What are you talking about?
He couldn't go to college, bro. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Forget about it. You don't go to college after that.
Felipe Lopez was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Bro, he couldn't go to college. He was gonna make too much money in the NBA. The NBA contract is more than what college players make. Come on, man. And it's about the money.
What are you talking about? He just signed a $90 million deal with Nike. What does he care about the $100,000 that he was gonna get of an NBA contract? It's not even about.
What are you talking about?
No, but Miggs, he can't. If he went to college, he couldn't. No, Miggs, if he went to college, he couldn't accept the Nike deal.
Exactly.
I know that, but what I'm trying to say
that's why he did it. That's another reason why he didn't go. I wouldn't go. If someone give me $90 million, I'm not going to college.
LeBron couldn't go to college.
That decision is a bigger decision than
that wasn't even
going over to see whose team is going to pick that year. That's pure
Miggs,
bullshit, man.
Miggs, that wasn't a choice. That wasn't a choice or a decision.
There was no need to do the thing. He even decided. He even said it right now, saying that I shouldn't have done it that way.
Anyway, the 10-year anniversary of the decision at that
10
time.
10 years, huh? How many championships?
At that time, that was dope. At that time, for me, I remember anticipating it and
wait. So hold on for a second. Really wait a minute. So you're telling me that this big decision we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of only came in with what, 3 championships? 3 for 10?
Nah,
really?
2. The decision only brought 2.
Briefly.
Let's get that
briefly.
correct.
Huh?
Briefly.
2 championships out of 10.
Briefly.
That's the goal. That's the goal in the NBA.
Briefly. Mike, briefly, I would like to say that that the decision I remember anticipating it. I remember being excited about it. I remember not knowing, as a LeBron fan, not knowing where he was going, and I was
Burning jerseys.
and I was ready. I was already thinking, damn, he's already leaving the Jordan. Is he really gonna leave the Jordan blueprint? He's not gonna stay on one team. Damn, Cleveland, this, damn, they drafted him. He's from Cleveland. It's the perfect love story, blah blah blah. And then he actually went to the Heat with two other stars, one being a superstar and Dwayne Wade. And that was a big shocker. I remember thinking for a second, damn, LeBron messed up, man. But then 3 seconds later, I said, nah, LeBron's going to be fine. LeBron is too nice to not be the leader of that team, because even though basketball is a team game, LeBron's trying to be the GOAT. So you have to lead. You can't be led. I'm sorry. That's just part of the deal. So, the decision, the whole, even though he was nervous, I didn't like the whole telecast, like the whole, he was mad nervous. I didn't like that shirt that he was wearing.
We're not talking about the whole fact of whether or not that was good or bad. And this guy goes over and says, nah, it was important. And now he said that you didn't like the way it was.
I didn't like the telecast. I didn't like the way he said it, because he was nervous. You could tell he was nervous. You could tell he was unsure. And I'm getting this from Shannon Sharp on Undisputed, where he said LeBron is always ready for the question. Like, he's always on top of it, and he's always cool, calm, and collective when answering these questions. That was one of the first time that you saw LeBron kind of like nervous. Like, you don't know, like it's kind of like a player that was decided.
I doubt it because I doubt that. I only doubt that only because there were already reports. It's been confirmed that he let every other contending team know that he wasn't picking them. So
yeah. But that was like minutes before his decision. Not
like
days.
10 minutes. I think it was like 10,
10 minutes. All right, so that's
like
still.
5,
I think you guys are arguing two different things. Like, Miggs is talking about the whole media side of it, the whole presentation that he's
the special.
Yeah, not the fact that he chose to go to a different team.
Yeah. He did a smart move at the end of the day.
But I'm not arguing.
The team, the teams that
look, even though it's LeBron James, it's the same.
An hour and a half special of it. That's all.
It's the same decision. It's the same decision every rookie in his position has to make. It's not. It's a big decision, but it's not.
Yeah, but LeBron never had to make. LeBron never had to make a decision like that.
And neither did any of those. And neither did any of those players. They might have chosen the college that they went to. But most of them don't. They just pick whatever has the best deal that's given to them, or the only deal that's given to them that has the best exposure. Yeah. And then they don't have a choice where they get drafted to. That's how your whole rookie contract goes.
Yeah.
It's more special.
LeBron didn't have a choice.
It's more special, but it's more special seeing a kid come out from high school straight into the league. I think who was it? The last one that actually technically did it. It wasn't LeBron. Who was it? It was who was that came after that went straight from high school into the league?
Kevin Garnett, Kobe, T-Mac.
Yeah, so those were really like the last few.
Of all the people, it was Kevin Garnett, Tyson Chandler,
Eddie Curry.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think of that, when you think of that, that's a bigger milestone.
I remember Big Perk in high school. He was a beast.
You know what I mean? That's what's more special. But he was just doing the same thing that all players at his age that's trying to win a championship do. Pick the team that they're gonna try to win a championship with. And sign.
Yeah, but at that time, being the face of a franchise, you don't do that. You don't leave the franchise. You feel me? To go to another franchise.
That's true.
And to join other.
You do but you don't televise a team to go to another franchise, because he could have gone to New York and he would have been hailed a hero if he would have gone to New York.
Yeah, because of the Knicks fans. Because of the Knicks fans. Because of the Knicks fans.
Not just the Knicks fans, just because of the history of it. Like,
so if LeBron, so let me ask you this: so if LeBron would have gone to New York, would have came to New York with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
I don't think Wade, but maybe Bosh.
No. But let's say they all three of them came to New York. The narrative wouldn't have been he teamed up with three superstars
No,
with two superstars and-
it would still be
narrative
there.
would have been the same.
No,
It would just be New York fans loving LeBron
Nobody
versus
would have ever-
Miami fans.
No, seriously. No,
I agree with
what
that.
it would have been, it actually would have been like New York would have looked like the evil empire. They would have gotten the same respect as the Yankees do. But like, look at this evil empire.
No,
Just
yeah, I
took
agree. I agree with that. It
top
would have been
three
like,
players.
they'd be like, New York just throws money at everything.
Like, yeah, like, whoa, like this is New York doing this?
I don't know, man. I don't know about the evil empire.
I'm telling you right now.
No, yeah, they would say New York just bust
They've
their
never done that
rings.
before. They've never done that before.
Winning 2 in New York, I would guarantee that winning 2 in New York, or even trying to go for a 3-pit in New York,
You heard?
better than winning 6 in Chicago.
I don't think they would have been known.
To a lot of people.
Miggs, I don't think they would have been known like the evil empire because they've never done that before. They've never been in it. Like you can't. They've never bought players.
They've never been successful at it.
Yeah, exactly.
New York has thrown money at players, have used their money to bring leverage, have used their media, have used their ability to promote. So they've done it before. Just
this is true. This is true.
All right,
but you know what? You know where they mess up at,
I guess I never caught it because it never worked.
No, you know where they mess up at? This is the part that they always mess up at, and LeBron and the articles regarding this allude to that. You know, they're nice with the media and with the celebration and the pitch, but dude, you know, LeBron James he probably asked a simple question: what are your guys' plans to try to win a championship?
And they didn't know yet.
Now that I'm here.
And they said, "Look,
we
know this guy named Frank
He
Nicolini.
saw through the cheap, car salesman, pitch.
We about to draft. We about to draft the next James Harden. His name is Frank Nicolina. We're gonna pair you up with him, LeBron, and you already know."
All right, let me talk real quick about the 10-year anniversary, right? So I interpret this in 2 ways. One, I think LeBron definitely changed the game in terms of how players negotiate contracts, in terms of what kind of leverage they have, and the level of autonomy that they have as individual players. So I think for good or for worse or for bad, I think like we all have to acknowledge LeBron for changing that, and changing the history of the NBA. But me, I'm still very much old school, and I think it sort of kind of cheapens his legacy for me. I think a lot of people have forgiven LeBron over the years, but unfortunately, I think people from the older era, people who
Carl, what you mean by old school? What you mean by you being old school? My fault to interrupt. What's old school? What? I just want to know what's old school.
I mean, old school. You don't join your competition. Right, especially when you are at your prime, especially when you are considered the GOAT or considered a GOAT or the face of the league. Like, you don't just go and say, "Oh, well, you know what? Dwayne Wade got a championship. I'm gonna go join Dwayne Wade." And not only am I gonna join Dwayne Wade, but I'm gonna get Chris Bosh. I'm gonna get Ray Allen. Like, you don't try to stack the deck. So I think, like, from a competitive point of view, I think a player who wants to be competitive at basketball, you want to try to rise above the challenges, not make the challenges easier for you by joining people who are competing at a high level. And I think that's what LeBron did. And so for me, it does cheapen his legacy, but I do acknowledge the fact that he has changed the NBA for better, for worse, and now players do that. So you have players like, Kevin Durant, who will join on a 73.
I'm so glad you said that.
You have players like Kawhi, who will now make these type of switches. So that's where we are now at the NBA.
You just told them to shut up and dribble. But,
no, I didn't.
Oh wow.
Well, I didn't say shut up and dribble.
That decision that he did 10 years ago led to the destruction of the LeBron James era, because in my personal opinion, the moment when Kevin Durant decided to go, was a free agent, and he was picking on which team he picked, he was the best player in the league. When he decided to go to the Golden State Warriors, and just get the hardware to go with him being the best player in the league, he was the best player in the league still. He still is the best player in the league. LeBron James is a freaking afterthought. No matter what you guys want to say about everything, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Kevin Durant is still the king, and you still got to topple him. That's why it's going to be very interesting next year when you have a healthy Brooklyn Nets team, to see whether or not they could add the final two pieces that the team needs to fully compete with a championship, and then they go up against the LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers.
I can't wait to see LeBron James's coronavirus ring.
But you know that this is all look, I'm telling you, the NBA, as far as the story goes, it's setting up for crazy next year, because you're also going to have Kawhi Leonard in the mix. So technically speaking, Kawhi is right now the reigning championship. But would he have been if there was a healthy Durant? We don't know.
Bro, you just said
resolved next year.
You just said LeBron James.
You can't say that, because players get injured and you can't control if a player gets injured. Players are gonna get injured next season.
You just said LeBron is an afterthought. Yo, end this podcast now, man.
Listen, LeBron is an afterthought, right? He is an afterthought. He's the agent. He's a great number two that's having a great number one season on the Los Angeles Lakers right now. Position wise, let's face facts. The stats say that Anthony Davis is putting up more stats than LeBron James, but LeBron James is having one of the better seasons in his career, in terms of production too. So we'll see about that. But what I'm trying to say with this is that Kevin Durant is the number one player in the NBA.
I have a question right now. I have a question. I always thought, like, do you still call a number two? Even though like they have a player on their team that may average more points than them, but the ball's in their hands most of the time, and they're basically the person who sets them up, and they still score, and their points aren't that far off. I still wouldn't call them.
Bro, but AD doesn't just have points.
I get that as well.
John Stockton held the ball for the majority of the time in Utah. You still call him number two.
I thought we were talking about the decision, man.
That's just something I wanted to know, because
Dwayne Wade had the ball the majority of the time over in Miami. He was still kind of considered, at least to some people, he was still considered number two once.
He wasn't number two until the second year. That was the issue that they had.
And you're right about that.
Yeah, that was the issue that they had. And then Dwayne Wade just gave it over to LeBron.
Westbrook and Kevin Durant.
Only because of his knees, though, too.
All the time, but Kevin Durant was the clear number one on that team.
But when you look at the numbers, it's not debatable. Of course, Kevin Durant was the number one on that team. What I'm saying is,
and Westbrook held the ball most of the time.
But that's not the same things that like LeBron is doing when you compare it. Like the efficiency is different. When LeBron has the ball, it's either going to be him scoring or it's going to be AD. My only question is, would that still be? It's not, because Westbrook wasn't that efficient with his passing. Westbrook didn't become like a consistent high level, but like high average passer until people started to keep mocking him about the fact that he wasn't passing. And that wasn't when they were at their best. What I'm saying is, how many of the points does AD get off of purely LeBron's assist? If it's the same, if it's like 50-50 of he gets his points with LeBron's assist versus the points that he makes from his own shot, then yes, then you can still. That's even more debatable that LeBron could possibly be the number one.
I'll answer that question. I would answer that question. The fact of that's pretty much accurate, only because LeBron James is averaging a double-double in assists for the first time in his career.
Yeah, I think
AD it has a lot to do with that.
I think he's the highest assist in the league, and I think also I think the same thing that you're saying in terms of AD benefiting off of LeBron, but LeBron's also benefiting
off of AD. Yeah, I know.
AD too. So even when he's passing it to AD, you pass it to AD, AD's gonna score against his man, right? And LeBron probably could have passed it to anyone else in the same position, but he's not gonna get the same result when it's AD.
LeBron, those are all weapons.
I think right now,
LeBron's the quarterback.
The number one guy is probably going to be LeBron, but I think
LeBron's the quarterback, man.
After that, it's going to be AD for sure, just based off the age.
I personally think AD is the number one, but I do think that is debatable. No, I do think it is very debatable between it being LeBron or AD.
It's going to be very debatable. That's why I said that LeBron James is going to win the MVP, even though he's not going to be, technically speaking, the best producer.
LeBron is the leader of the team, bro. LeBron is the number one on that team. He's the alpha.
He is the leader, yes. But
LeBron could be averaging 10, 10, and 10. LeBron could be averaging 10, 10, and 10, and he'll still be the leader of that team.
Because LeBron has the name. That's why.
Yeah, so forget about AD. His stats are better, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, you said it.
Definitely.
He does in a few categories.
It is.
Categories.
Okay, I think after saying that LeBron is an afterthought and then forgetting AD, I think it's time for us to stop this podcast.
No. AD is a beast. I'm not gonna say he's an afterthought though.
No. I said the vice versa. They said that LeBron was an afterthought. And anyway, I think
only just in a healthy era. It's only in the healthy in the era of a healthy Durant. You cannot say that LeBron James is the best player in the league. I'm sorry.
I think Miggs, you going
Durant.
I'm not gonna discuss. I'm looking at the time and I'm like, yo, Miggs is looking at the time too, and he knows when to try and knock me out. He's like, yo, right now he got me on the ropes because of the time. So
yeah, we gotta end this soon. They're about to start with the fireworks.
Word.
Well, they already been started.
Yo, where the hell Fabulous went, man?
I was about to say something problematic.
Let's talk about the verses real quick. Yo, like I said, Jadakiss is a better rapper than Fabulous. Fabulous had no personality, no character. It showed in his music and his whole performance. Jadakiss showed why he has character. He got drunk. He gave us what we wanted as the fans. He showed the new generation how Jadakiss gets down. You feel me? So it's beyond lyrics at this point. Jadakiss already got the foundation, which was lyrics in the fan base. But now he showed the world that he's a fun dude. Now Jadakiss can do anything he wants. He just set that up, bro. You feel me? Jadakiss can do anything he wants.
All right, so since we lost Mike, I'm gonna do my best Mike impersonation. All right, guys, time to wrap it up. We're gonna catch you guys next week on the Coach's Challenge podcast.
Thanks for having us, Mike. Thanks for having us, Mike.
You guys,
Birdie,
Mike.
You guys have anything you guys want to add on to any podcasts, any shout outs?
Shameless plugs.
You can catch me live on twitch.tv /StatsGurdy.
That's
Mike,
it.
Man.
Yo, call Tropness on Instagram, CarlTropnes, Mr. Tropness.
Yo, this is H leaving y'all. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Hope y'all like what we're doing.
This is Mr. Miggs. Great talking and meeting you guys again. Sorry I missed last week, but let's keep it going. Have a good night.